Chapter. Each can build his home today.
The main thing, Vladimir, is that each person can build a home today. He can feel God and live in paradise. Just one instant separates the people living on earth today from paradise. There is awareness inside each person. When postulates do not hinder awareness, then... Vladimir, look.
Anastasia was suddenly merry. She grabbed me by the hand and pulling me toward the bare ground of the lakeshore, she began speaking quickly as she walked.
Right now. You'll understand everything very soon. People will understand everything, my readers, yours. They will determine the essence of the earth and discover their own purpose. Very soon, Vladimir. Here, we will build a house in our thoughts now. You and I and all of them. I assure you. Believe me, each person's thought will touch the thought of God. The door to paradise will open. Let's go. Let's go quickly. I'll draw with a stick on the shore. Together, we will build a house with whoever touches you in the future through the written line. Human thought will become one. People have God's ability in them to make what is thought a reality. More than one house will stand on the earth. Each person in those houses will be able to comprehend everything. He himself will be able to feel and understand the aspirations of the divine dream. We will build a house, they and I and you.
Anastasia, wait a minute. There are a lot of different designs for houses where modern people live. What can be the point of you proposing yet another design?
Vladimir, don't just listen to me. Feel everything I draw and mentally finish drawing the design yourself. Let each person draw it with me. Oh God, people, please, just try.
Anastasia seemed to be trembling in joyous excitement. She was calling upon people, and greater interest began to arise in me for her project. At first it seemed simple, and at the same time I got the feeling about the hermit Anastasia was revealing some unusual secret to all. The whole secret was in its unusual simplicity, but to tell it in order, here is how it all sounded.
First, choose a place you like out of all the possible favorable places on earth. A place where you would like to live, where you would want your children to live, and where you would be a good memory for your great-grandchildren. The climate in that place must be favorable for you. Take for the ages 1 hectare of land in that place for yourself.
But no one can simply take land now just because he wants to. Land is sold only where people want to sell it.
Yes, unfortunately that is how it all does happen. Our homeland is vast, but there is not even a hectare of your land in it, where you can create a corner of paradise for your children and descendants. Still, the time has come to begin. Of all the existing laws, you can make use of the most favorable.
I don't know all the laws, of course, but I'm confident that we do not have a law allowing each person to have some quantity of land in perpetuity. They lease many hectares of land to farmers, but not for more than 99 years.
Oh well, to begin with, we can take it for a shorter time, but you must quickly create a law so that each person has a homeland, land. The state depends on this flowering. If there is no serious law, then it must be created.
That's easy to say and hard to do. Laws are written by the State Duma. It must somehow amend the Constitution or add a chapter. But the parties in the Duma argue among themselves, and there is no way we can solve the land issue.
If there is no party capable of passing a law so that each person can have a homeland, then such a party must be created.
Who is going to create it?
Someone who reads about the home being created and understands what a homeland means for each person living today and for the future of the entire earth.
All right, that's enough of parties. Why don't you tell me about your unusual house? I'm curious as to what new idea you can bring to design. Let's imagine that someone has a hectare of land. Not a paradise, but one overtaken by weeds. They probably won't give out anything better, so here a man stands on his hectare. Now what?
Vladimir, think for yourself. You dream too. What actions would you take if you were standing on your own land?
Chapter. A fence.
First, of course, it all has to be surrounded by a fence. Otherwise, when you start bringing in building materials for the cottage, they could be stolen. And when you plant, thieves could steal your harvest later. Or are you opposed to a fence?
No, even all animals mark their territory. But what will you use to build your fence?
What do you mean? Boards? No, wait. Boards might be kind of expensive. For starters, posts should be dug and the area surrounded in barbed wire. Later there can be boards. No one can tell what is going on behind the fence.
And how many years can a board fence stand without repair?
If the lumber is good and it has paint or roofing metal, and those parts of the post that go into the ground are painted with tar, The fence will go 5 years without repair, maybe even more.
And then,
You have to repair it or paint it so it doesn't rot.
this means you are going to have to fuss with the fence constantly, and it will leave your children or grandchildren with even more trouble. Wouldn't it be better to arrange everything so that you do not leave your children rotting structures? Let's think about how to make the fence more solid and long-lasting, so your descendants remember you kindly.
Of course, it can be more long-lasting. Who wouldn't want that? For instance, the posts could be brick and the foundation brick, and between the posts there could be cast iron bars which won't rust. A fence like that would even last 100 years, but only very rich people have the wherewithal to build that. Picture it. A hectare is 400 meters along the perimeter. A fence like that would cost more than 100,000 rubles, and you might even pour millions of rubles into it. On the other hand, it would stand for 100 or 200 years, maybe even more. It could be made with some kind of family coat of arms. Your descendants would look and remember their forefather, and everyone around would envy them.
Envy is a bad feeling. It causes harm.
But there is nothing to be done here. I'm telling you, not many are going to be able to surround their hectare with a good fence.
That means we have to think up another fence.
What other fence? Can you suggest something?
Wouldn't it be better, Vladimir, instead of lots of posts that are later going to rot, to plant trees?
Trees, and what nailed to them?
Why nail? Look here. Lots of trees grow in the forest and their trunks are 1.5 meters or 2 from each other.
Yes, they do. But there are gaps between them. That doesn't make a good fence.
But between them you can plant impassable bushes. Look closely and picture what a beautiful fence that might make. Everyone would have one a little different, and each could gaze in admiration. Your descendants would remember you as the beautiful fence's creator through the ages. Time would not be taken from them to repair it, and it would bring benefits. It would function not only as a barrier. One fence should be made of birches growing in a row, another from oaks. Some, in a creative surge, would make a fence of many colors, like in a fairy tale.
What kind of colors?
One might plant different colored trees, birches, maples, oaks, cedars. Another could intertwine mountain ash with their burning red clusters, and plant guelder rose between them. Still another could make room for bird cherries and lilac. You can think all of it through from the beginning. Each person must observe what grows, how high, how it blooms in spring, how it smells, and what kinds of birds it attracts. Your fence would be singing and fragrant, and would never tire your gaze, since it would subtly change its pictures by a half-tone every day. It would bloom with the flower of spring and blaze with the colors of fall.
Well, Anastasia, you're a kind of poet. A simple fence. And how you changed it all. You know, I like this turn very much. Why haven't people thought of this before? You don't have to paint or repair it. When it grows big, it can be used for firewood and new trees planted in its place, thus changing the picture like drawing. It would take a long time for a fence like that to grow in. If you plant trees every 2 meters, you have to dig 200 holes for saplings as well as plant bushes between them. And of course you're going to say not to use equipment.
On the contrary, Vladimir, there is no point rejecting it for this project. Everything that was a manifestation of the dark forces has to be turned toward the forces of light. In order to carry out the project as quickly as possible, you can use a plow around the perimeter to dig a furrow and plant the saplings in it. Plant all the saplings and shrubbery seeds that you've selected between the trees at once. Then run the plow again right next to that and turn the earth. Before the earth gets trampled, correct and line up each of the saplings.
Great. This way, in 2 or 3 days, one person can build an entire fence.
Yes.
Only it's too bad that until the fence grows up, it won't serve as a barrier for thieves, and there will be a long wait until it does. Cedars and oaks grow slowly after all.
But the birch and aspens grow quickly, and so will the bushes between them. If you're in a hurry, then you can plant 2-meter tree saplings right away. When the birch grows up, you can saw it down and use it for your home, and the maturing cedars and oaks will take the place of the ones cut down.
All right, we can sort out the living fence. I like it a great deal. Now tell me, what kind of cottage construction do you see on the land?
Why don't we plan on the garden first, Vladimir?
What are you talking about? Different beds for tomatoes, potatoes, and cucumbers? Women usually deal with that. Men build houses. I think one big house should be built right away, a fancy cottage in the European style, so that our descendants and grandchildren remember us well, and another small house for the servant. The garden is large after all. It is going to take a lot of work.
Vladimir, if everything is done correctly from the beginning, you will not need a servant. Everything around you will serve you and all your children and grandchildren with the utmost pleasure and love.
That doesn't happen for anyone, even for your beloved summer people. They have 500 square meters, maybe 6, and they work every weekend from dawn till dusk. And here there's a hectare. Just bringing in fertilizer and manure will take at least 10 truckloads a year. A lot of manure is going to have to be spread over the plot and then dug into all the earth. Otherwise, everything will grow badly. Other fertilizers have to be added too, and they're sold in special stores. If you don't fertilize, the soil becomes infertile. The agronomists who studied the science of the earth know this, and summer people have been convinced based on their own experience. I hope you agree that the land has to be fertilized.
Of course the land has to be fertilized, but there's no need to put yourself out for this. God thought all this through in advance so that the land where you want to live is fertilized and in ideal shape, without physical monotonous effort from you. You only need to touch him with your thought, feel the integrity of his system and not make decisions with your mind alone.
Then why is the land anywhere now not fertilized according to God's system?
Vladimir, you're in the taiga right now. Look around you. See how tall the trees are and how powerful their trunks. Between the trees are grass and bushes. There are raspberries, currants. A great variety of everything grows in the taiga for man. No person in the thousands of years that have passed has ever once fertilized the land in the taiga, but the land remains fertile. Who do you think fertilized it and how?
Who? I don't know who or how. But you have cited a serious fact indeed. Yes, everything does somehow happen with man amazingly. You tell me, why does the taiga not require all kinds of fertilizers?
God's thought and system have not been violated in the taiga to the same degree as where man lives today. In the taiga, leaves fall from the trees and the breeze tears off little twigs. The land and the taiga is fertilized by leaves and twigs and worms. The growing grass regulates the earth's composition. Bush has helped get rid of excess acid or alkaline. None of the fertilizers you know can take the place of the leaf that falls from a tree. After all, the leaf bears many of the energies of the cosmos. It has seen the stars, the sun and the moon, not just seeing them but interacted with them. Even after many thousands of years, the taiga land will be fruitful.
But there is no taiga on the land where the house is going to be built.
Then plant a forest of different species yourself.
Anastasia, why don't you say right off how to make it so that the soil on the plot always fertilizes itself? This is a big deal because there is a lot of other work ahead. Planting the beds, fighting all the different pests.
Of course I can tell you in detail, but it's better if each calls upon his own thought, soul and dreams for the construction. Each person can sense intuitively what is the most acceptable for him, and what will also bring joy to his children and grandchildren. There cannot be a single plan. It is as individual as the great painting of a painter-creator. Each has his own.
But you can say approximately, tell us what to do in general.
Fine. I'll sketch it out a little. But first you have to understand the main thing. Everything has been created by God for the good of human beings. You are a human being, and you can control everything around you. You are a human being. You can understand and feel with your soul where the true earthly paradise lies.
But more specifically, without philosophy, tell us where to plant and where to dig something up. What crops should someone plant so he can sell them later for more money?
Vladimir, do you know why peasants and farmers of the present day have no happiness?
No, why?
Many strive for a larger harvest, and then they sell it. They think more about money than the land. They themselves do not believe they can be happy in their family nest. They believe everyone is happy in cities. Believe me, Vladimir, everything that is going on in the soul is always reflected outwardly. Of course, specific outward details are needed too. So let's picture together approximately the plan for the land. I will merely begin, and you help me.
All right, I will. You start.
Our plot is a wasteland. The wasteland has been surrounded by a living fence. Let us take up another 3/4 or half with forest and plant different kinds of trees in it. At the forest edge where the remaining land joins, we will plant living fencing out of the kinds of bushes that animals can't get through to trample the seedlings in the garden. In the forest of living saplings planted closer to each other, we will set up an enclosure where a goat or two might live later. Also out of the trees we will set up a shelter for laying hens. In the garden we will dig a shallow pond of a couple of 100 square meters. We will plant raspberry and currant bushes among the forest trees, and wild strawberries along the edge. Also in the forest, after the trees have grown a little, we will place 3 empty troughs for bees. We will plant a gazebo of trees where you and your friends or children can be together, away from the heat. And we will set up a living bedroom and your creative studio, and a bedroom for the children and a guest room.
That's terrific. That will be a palace then, not a forest.
Only it will be a living palace that grows eternally. This is how the Creator himself thought of everything. Man merely needs to give everything a task, according to his taste, intention, and meaning.
Why didn't the Creator do this right away? Everything in the forest grows haphazardly.
The forest is like a book for you, the Creator. Look more closely, Vladimir. The Father has written everything in it. There, look, 3 trees are growing just 1.5 meters from each other. You're free to plant them in a row and compose all kinds of different configurations out of the many just like them. Bushes between the trees, think about how to use them for your life's delight. But here the trees do not let the grass and bushes grow between them, and you can bear this in mind for your own future living home. You must give everything a program and adjust it to your taste. To cherish and delight you and your children, everything in the vicinity that will be on your land must cherish and nourish.
If I'm going to be nourished, I have to plant a garden, and you definitely sweat with a garden.
Believe me, Vladimir, a garden can also be made in such a way that it does not require too much labor from you after all. Here it is only necessary to observe. Between the grasses, the way everything grows in the forest, you could also grow vegetables. The most beautiful tomatoes and cucumbers. You'd find their tastes much more pleasant than what you normally eat, and they will bring the organism much more benefit when the land around them is not bare.
What about weeds? Won't pests and beetles destroy them?
There's nothing without benefit in nature, and there are no unneeded weeds, nor are there beetles that harm man.
What do you mean there aren't? What about the locusts, or for example, the potato beetle, that stinker, which eats the potatoes in the fields?
Yes, it does. In this way, it shows people that their ignorance of the earth's independence is destructive. They are contradicting the intentions of the divine Creator. How can you plow the same place every year, tormenting the land? It is like picking at an unhealed wound with a rake and at the same time demanding that grace grow from the wounds. The potato beetle or locust will not touch the plot that you and I are drawing. When everything grows in great harmony, then the fruits yielded to their grower are harmonious.
But what if in the end, on the plot you have conceived, man doesn't need to fertilize the earth? He doesn't need to fight different pests with poison or spend time weeding, and everything grows there by itself. Then what's left for man to do?
Live in paradise, as God wanted it, and he who can build a paradise like that will touch the thought of God and will produce a new creation with him.
What kind of new creation?
The time will come when what came before is created. Let's picture what we have as yet failed to do.
End of chapter. Join us for the next segment of Co-Creation, Book 4 of the Ringing Cedar series, Home.